Have you wondered what it really means to have black cat energy? How some women have it and some women don't? And somehow you're going to attract a golden retriever man with this type of energy? It's all very confusing. But here's the thing, it does work. And I'm a man saying that. So, on today's show, we're going to discuss exactly how you can have black cat energy and how the men respond to that in a way that will allow you to have them wrapped around your finger. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome all you beautiful people. Okay, good to see you. We got our two moderators here right on time. We got SH and Charisse here. Okay, we also got Mia here. Welcome, Mia. Welcome all you beautiful people. Got Missy America holding down the YouTube chat. We got Enlighten A, of course, one of our chat OGs. We also got Tosh here. We got Ashley here. We got so many more here. Lily's here. Welcome all you beautiful people. It's good to see you. We got Scotty in the TikTok chat. I remember Scotty be participating. Okay. Welcome to all of you beautiful people. Let's get started and we'll discuss as time goes on. Okay. So number one, in order to have black cat energy, you need to be elusive. Okay. Now, I'm not just talking about being elusive by not texting him back. We've talked about texting. We've talked about why you need to stay off the phone and not be a textaholic. Okay. When I'm also talking about being elusive is this is going to sound strange. It's going to sound weird. If you haven't heard someone talk like this before, I want you to stop being so eager to tell men everything that you're thinking and feeling, and especially not be so eager to tell men exactly what you desire. Okay? I know this sounds very strange because you're like, well, if I'm building a relationship with someone, shouldn't I be telling them all about me? Shouldn't I be telling them everything I'm feeling? Shouldn't I be telling them and making it clear to them everything I want and all that good stuff so he can be that? Here's the thing. I want you to understand. I'm going to explain black cat energy, but I also want I want the idea of the black cat to stay with you. I want the feeling that you get when you think of a black cat to stay with you, because that will help to guide you when you're thinking about how and why you should be making particular decisions. Okay. So when I say that, what I mean is the analogy of the black cat. I want you to think about its elegance. I want you to think about its shiny black coat. I want you to think about the mystery involved. I'm talking about like a panther, like a large black cat, not a small one, the mystery involved in being such an elegant, large, mysterious figure that kind of lurks in the shadows and you feel like you saw it, but it wasn't there, but I see the eyes, but is that it? And it's gone just before I could even catch it. And I never know when it's there. And it's just full of mystery and wonder. And I just want to know more about it. Okay. The interesting black cat that only seems to show up and things happen. And then the black cat's gone and I can't see it again. And I spend time thinking about when it's going to come back again. Okay. Now, when I say that and I give that analogy, I want you to be thinking about that as I'm describing all of these different things, because it'll help crystallize to you why this energy gets this specific type of golden retriever response from the men. And if you haven't noticed already, you want your man to be like a golden retriever. You want your man, I said it in yesterday's show, you want your man to be like a pick-me-sha. Okay, so everything I tell you not to be in terms of being a pick-me-sha, you want to be doing things that will stimulate him to become the pick-me-sha, because when he's the pick-me-sha, then you get to get exactly what you want, exactly how you want it, for as long as you feel like getting it. And you don't even have to lift a finger. That's the amazing part about it. But the even better part about it is when your man becomes the pick-me-sha in the relationship, or in this case, it becomes the golden retriever, he's seeking out your approval, he's chasing after you, but that's the natural dynamic and flow of things. And so when he's in that position, he actually feels the deepest in his masculine. And when you're in that position of receiving, you're like the black cat, you feel the deepest in your feminine. Because like I say to you guys, you're doing what? You're observing, you're relaxing, and you're listening, okay? Like you're receiving, okay? So when I talk about being elusive, like I said, I'm not just talking about not texting on the phone and not being available on the phone. I'm also talking about being elusive in the sense that not giving away the secrets to you and what you're looking for. Why? Because it forces the men who are truly interested in you and really actually want to pursue you. It puts them in a position where if I truly am that interested in you, I have to do things, take action to try to figure out what gets the best response from you. This is how you start turning the guys that you like into golden retrievers, because they start thinking to themselves, how can I do more to impress you more? Do you like when I run around like this? Do you like when we play catch? If I chase the ball and I do that, right? And he's thinking how he can do more to impress you more. And all his thoughts and brain power is going on trying to prove himself to you. The problem is when you're not elusive in the sense that you just give away all your secrets. You tell him everything you're thinking, everything you're feeling, everything you want from him, everything you want from a man, everything you want in a relationship. He thinks to himself, well, cool, I have those answers. So I know if I want to trick her or if I want to impress her, I just do those things. And while that might feel good to you for him to do those things, it doesn't require a lot of brain or thought power. And you don't set up this dynamic in which he's constantly chasing after you and you're sitting back relaxing and allowing him to show you how many backflips he can do in a row. And you clap and say, oh, that's a good job. That's a good job. What a good job. Good boy, right? You want him to be chasing after that. That's what you want him. That's what you want from him. You want him to be chasing after your approval. You and your approval are one and the same. So you want to set up a situation in which you're the black cat and your golden retriever man is chasing after you and your approval. Because then you get to set the stage for how it is that you want him to act or what it is that you expect from him. And when you are elusive, it only forces people who are interested in you to take a step in. It's the same idea as if I started whispering, like I was real quiet like this, right? Let's say me and you are in person, right? And we're talking, and I go from talking at a normal level and I start whispering. What's going to happen? You're going to lean in. You're going to lean in closer to try and hear more. You're going to lean in and try to understand the words that I'm speaking. But if I'm speaking loud and if I'm projecting my voice, you're not necessarily going to need to lean in. You're not going to need to try to hang on to every word and focus on every word that I'm saying to understand what it is that I'm saying. You can kind of tune me out if I'm talking at a regular level, and you can still get the gist and the understanding of what's being said. But the moment I start whispering, now all of a sudden you've got to lean in. But it's the same idea, right? When you're elusive, it forces people who are interested in you to lean in and try to actually know more about you and try to better understand you and try to figure you out. And so you begin that cycle where they are chasing after you and your approval, trying to understand you, trying to see what you need, trying to see what your wants are, trying to scope out what your desires are. And it works out in your favor. So you want to be elusive and not be so eager to tell men, hey, I love when a man buys me flowers. If you could get me flowers, that would actually make me feel so amazing. And if you did this for me, and I just wish, a man's never done this for me and a man's never done that for me. If you could just do this for me, I can't believe I've never had a man take me out to a fancy, let him show you that, because his interest in you, right, motivates him and pushes him to say, I want to do more in order to get more access to her. Okay. And we'll talk about access, and we'll talk about specifically how you need to be deep within you so that the men can then in turn chase after you. Okay. So being elusive is number one. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by being elusive. Okay. So let's say you're on a date with a guy and he's asking you what you're looking for in a guy. When I'm talking about being elusive, I'm also talking about being vague so that those guys can start chasing after those answers. All right. So when I talk about being a black cat and I say be elusive, if a guy asks you what you want out of a guy or what you're looking for in a guy, I want you to be vague. I know it makes no sense. I know you feel like it's counterproductive. I know that it's counterintuitive, but I want you to understand when you're vague and someone's interested in you, it forces them to do work in order to get those answers. Okay? If they want to know what you're looking for in a guy, they start thinking to themselves, well, you're not really telling me anything you're looking for in a guy. So I'm going to have to figure out what you're looking for in a guy by doing everything I think you would want in a guy. By better understanding you, by learning you. And just that fast, you've created a scenario in which he's thinking about you. He's thinking about your needs. He's thinking about your wants and desires. And in the process of him thinking about your wants and desires, his focus is on you and on you solely. And his focus is on how to try to improve himself for you, that you will be proud of him. Yay, you're a good boy. I like you now. And that's where you want him to be. Okay? CMS says, yeah, like you say something super vague. I like funny guys. I like nice guys. I like gentlemen. Things that really could apply to anyone in any scenario, okay? And let him continue to figure out what it is that you're actually seeking, and let his interest motivate him to actually seek that out, right? This is why you almost have to use men's approach and energy against them. What I mean by that is you have to use the fact that if he's approaching you, assuming you didn't go up to him, assuming you didn't go up to him, and assuming you didn't initiate conversation, and assuming you didn't take the man's role, assuming you're still in your feminine because he approached you and you allowed him to approach you, you want to take that and use that to your advantage by allowing him to continue to pursue you by not giving him too much. And continuously giving him space that you can utilize the fact that he's interested in you and wants to get to know you more by allowing there to be more things that he has to actually get to know and understand about you. The black cat is mysterious, okay? That's also what we're talking about when we're talking about black cat energy. The black cat doesn't just blurt out everything they think and feel and they want and you're just a dumpster fire of emotions and trauma dumping. Okay, that's not what you are as a black cat. You're elusive. You're mysterious. You're to yourself, and because of that, other people want to know and discover more about you. It's a very powerful way to approach life and relationships. Okay. I know some of you guys are like, mystery, that's playing games. If you're trying to be purposely mysterious, you're just playing games. It doesn't make sense. Just be upfront and just tell people exactly what you think and feel. Here's the reality. Okay. I'll give you a little dose of reality before we hop in here to number 2. Here's the reality. The more upfront and honest with people you are, I know that people will say, even guys will tell you, I would just like you to be just super blunt with me. Tell me exactly how you feel. Tell me exactly what you want. Tell me exactly what you're thinking. Lay it all out for me. Don't play games, right? Guys will tell you that and they'll encourage you to do that. And then eventually, after you do that and try your hardest to be that, you'll realize they're very uninterested in you. And they end up chasing after the girls who are the most mysterious and barely seem to like them. So yes, people might say that's what they want. Yes, that might be the healthy way to go about it. But in reality, you won't see many results that way. Or at the very least, your results won't be as powerful as when you actually be strategic about being mysterious and elusive. And then the men are hungry hyenas for you. Okay, so being elusive was number 1. Now, being yourself is number 2. Now, I know on the surface, this sounds pretty straightforward. Oh, be yourself. You should just be you. Everyone just be yourself, okay? What I mean by be yourself is there is a natural inclination that you have as a woman to serve your man. Nothing wrong with that, okay? There's no difference between serving your boyfriend or your husband and serving a random stranger that you just started dating, okay? The thing that I mean when I say be yourself, I want you to be more cautious of trying to make so many adjustments in you and your personality to fit the mold of what a guy wants from you. Okay? When we're talking about black cat energy, A black cat is to itself and involved in itself. It's not worried about other people, and it's mysterious, which is why other people are worried about the black cat. Be yourself means that you need to be identifying and focused on what you are and not trying to change and adjust yourself to be someone who someone else wants you to be. Because similarly to the be elusive, where other people will tell you, hey, you should just come out and tell me exactly what you think or feel. You should just come out and tell me all your feelings and all your desires and all your wants, because that makes it easier for me. In reality, it just makes it less painful for me to have to discover that or chase you around. That's what the guys want. And it's the same thing when we talk about be yourself. When you're yourself and you're just you and you don't try to fit the mold and be what someone else, specifically what another guy wants you to be, people will try to convince you that that's being difficult. People will try to convince you that you're playing too hard to get. You're playing a game because you don't just want to capitulate and do exactly what he wants you to do or make the exact adjustment that he wants you to make. But in reality, when you're being more of yourself, you actually let out this secure energy that people become attracted to. You let out confidence that people become attracted, specifically men, become attracted to. Because as you try to change and adjust and change and adjust and change and adjust to be more likable to the guy that you're dating, he only ends up liking you less. That's not black cat energy. Actually, you're the golden retriever in that sense. Because you're the golden retriever because you're thinking about how can I seek out your approval? How can I do more so that you'll like me? How can I do more so that you'll want me more? Okay, newsflash to you. In majority of relationships, there is one black cat and then there is one golden retriever. Really and truly, a man could be either one and a woman could be either one. And some of you are golden retrievers. And what we're trying to do in the Players Club is we're trying to turn you into black cats. Because you can't have two black cats in a relationship and you can't have two golden retrievers in a relationship. One person's got to be it and the other person's got to be the other. Okay? So if you're to yourself, if you're being yourself, then you're not seeking out someone else's approval because you don't need someone else's approval to be you. You don't need someone else's approval to be more of yourself. You're already that because that's what you want and that's what you need. Okay? And the more you are that, the more your confidence will be oozing through your pores because you have security in who you are, what you stand for, and other people see that security and they say, oh, I'm attracted to that security. I'm attracted to that confidence. Because you don't have confidence if you don't have value. You have confidence if you have value, but you don't have confidence if you don't have value. I said that. That's what I said. Okay? Right? Does that make sense? So you never try to adjust parts of your personality or change to be more likable or accepted by the guy. Instead, you be more of yourself, not worry about what other people want or what they find likable or acceptable, right? And in the process of that, people will be attracted to who you are. This is why it's so important, and we'll talk about this in a second. This is why it's so important to detach yourself from the idea that it has to be one specific person, because it makes it a lot easier to just be you and allow who's attracted to you to be attracted to you. Okay? So, right? Because in the process of you being more of what other people want you to be, they'll eventually get disinterested in you anyways. And they'll look to the people who aren't interested in trying to mold or shape their personality to be more of what other people want. They'll be attracted to the people, specifically the guys will be more attracted to the women who are trying to be more of themselves. And they're going to say, I like you. I want to join you on your train wherever it's going. Okay? So being elusive is number one. Being yourself is number two. Number three, let's discuss letting go. Now, I talked about this just a little bit earlier when I talked about you specifically need to let go of your desire to control people. This is going to sound strange to some of you. Here's the thing. When you get into a relationship with a guy or a talking stage, naturally, when you become attached to the idea that you want this relationship to work out, you're going to want to control him by turning him more into the guy that you're looking for, because you want the guy that you're looking for to be him, rather than identifying what you're already looking for and seeing if that person is him. See, part of letting go is developing your black cat energy, where you don't need people to be anything for you. However, you still know what it is you're looking for. And when you find that, that is where you will spend your time and your energy. If you do not find that, or in the process of you learning and growing in a relationship, you realize that this is not that, you then retract your energy. Okay? See, the most valuable thing that you have as a woman, especially when you're trying to embody this black cat energy, is your ability to give people more or take away more of your energy. That is your power. See, in that, you don't have to lift a finger. In that, you don't have to yell. In that, you don't even have to try to control people and force them to be something that they're not, or that they don't even intend to be. See, because when people are interested in you, when people are fascinated by you, when people are chasing and pursuing you and chasing and pursuing your approval, the moment you withdraw yourself from people, that becomes everything that you need it to be to motivate someone, specifically a golden retriever in this case, to motivate a man to say, oh, you're retreating from me, you're withdrawing from me. I need to know what I must do to fix that, so that I can continue getting access to you and so that you don't continue to withdraw from me. And see, when it's like that, when you're in that scenario, when you have that type of approach and that type of dynamic, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything except withdraw. This is why I say one of the most beautiful things about how to make a man fall in love is you really just do nothing. And the more of nothing you do, the more you literally just have to withdraw yourself as they do something that you don't like or you don't approve, and you give yourself your energy to the people who are embodying what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you want. Okay, so you have to let go of your instinctual desire to control people and mold them and turn them into what it is that you're looking for, or to try to turn this relationship that you have with them into the relationship that you actually want. Instead, you do nothing, like Sweet just said, you do nothing, and you allow men and their interest in you to motivate them to be who you need them to be. Literally do nothing. You always need to be holding on to your leverage as much as you possibly can. And the fact that if you're doing this right, that means you started off the relationship with him approaching you, him being interested in you. Now, obviously, there's going to be guys that you find fascinating. There's going to be guys that you think are cute and things like that. But assuming you start off the relationship with him taking the initiative, right? That's him saying, hey, I like you. I want to get to know you more. Hold that. Hold on to that for dear life. Don't let go of that. See, the problem is the anxiety that a lot of you guys are struggling with, where you feel like, oh, I just need to do more so that you'll like me more. Oh, I feel like I'm losing out on you. Oh, I need this relationship to work so bad because no guy will ever love me ever again if you don't love me right now in the second, right? That anxiety that's just rolling through you and steamrolling you is hurting all of your relationships, because you can't let go and allow someone to be who they intend to be with you. And you put yourself in a very painful situation where you end up as the golden retriever, because your desire to turn them into what you're looking for, right, starts putting you in a position where you're like, oh, but you don't do this, and oh, but you don't do that, and why don't you treat me well, and why don't you like me, and why don't you love me, and why don't you see me, and why don't you appreciate it? And you're a ball of anxiety everywhere you go. You're up and down all the time. Right? But when you let go And specifically, you let go of your desire to control and you let go of the idea that it has to be them. You also allow yourself to let go of the roller coaster of emotions that you'll feel when things are going super well and things are going not so well. Okay? Because your life, right? You as in an emotional state, there's nothing wrong with being emotional, but you shouldn't be on a roller coaster where you're super up one day and then you're down in the dumps another day. There has to be a happy medium that you can exist in that allows people to be drawn to you. I'll be the first to tell you, men are not drawn to women who are on emotional roller coasters like this, up one day and they're down the next day. Yeah, cool. That might be a toxic cycle, but you can't exude confidence when the smallest trigger will set you off. You didn't text me for an hour. You don't love me anymore. Do you like, be so for real? Do you think guys are going to be attracted? Be so for real. How are guys supposed to be attracted to that? You said you were going to call me at 9:00 p.m. You haven't called me. It's 9:03. What are you doing? Are you cheating on me? How are guys supposed to be attracted to that? Okay, what does that show him? You're not a black cat. You're not elusive. In fact, you're very needy. In fact, you're a lot like a golden retriever that will sleep in my bed and lick my face in the morning and stare at me until it's time to go to the park. Your entire day and life consists of looking for what it is that I want to do with you next. As soon as I leave the house, your life is literally boring until I enter the house again. Like a dog. Okay? You don't want to be that. Right? Think of this idea as well. Have you ever noticed that maybe some of you have some weird cats, but have you noticed that most of you that have cats, when you walk into the room, the cat usually goes somewhere else, or the cat goes and does something else. A cat is disinterested in what the humans have going on. But the dog will be waiting at the door with the tongue out at the door, right? Ready for you to walk into the door. It's like his life has literally been on pause and on hold until you walk back into the door. And like his life can't start until you get back into the door and get back into the house, because that's when things become interesting. But the cat's like, yo, I was doing my own thing. Like, actually, now that you're here, it's kind of bothering me because I was really happy just doing my own thing. If you could please not be in the same room as me. Okay? Right? That's how some cats maybe might be like dogs, but for most cats I know at least, they're very much disinterested in humans. Okay? Right? So, and the reason I give you that example is because I want you to start thinking about that when you're thinking about how you want to start carrying yourself. Allow other people to be interested and fascinated with you while your interest and your fascination is within yourself. I know it sounds, oh, well, that sounds toxic. That doesn't sound like it's very healthy. That doesn't sound like you're really going to be building relationships with people. Do you want the men to chase you or not? Do you want the men to pursue you or not? Are you tired of being a pick-me-sha or not? Which one? Because if you're tired of all that and you want to make a change, you're going to have to change your approach. Okay? So being elusive, number 1. Being yourself, number 2. Letting go, number 3. Number 4, I want you to begin observing. Listen to me, okay? As you let go and you allow people to show you who you are, you actually need to do a good job of observing people. See, part of your security within yourself as the black cat is knowing what it is that you want and being patient enough to observe people in their truest form and see if they're in line with what you're looking for. You don't adjust what you're looking for anyone. However, you don't freak out if someone that you meet is not what you're looking for. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're in a relationship with a guy and you know, hey, I'm really looking for a gentleman who will buy me flowers and talk to me nice and take me out on fancy dinners. Okay, that's what you really want, like a really sweet gentleman to you. You're really seeking that. Someone that really is a traditional man and all that good stuff. Cool. And in the process of that, this guy that you're on a date with, he goes, I just think, bills should be paid 50-50. If anything, if you're making more money, or if I want to do something, you should be paying even more bills, and and you should be taking part of the household, and you should go to work, but you should still come back home and cook and clean and all that good stuff. Instead of freaking out on people and being, you're so wrong. I can't believe you would do that. I can't believe you would say that. This is not how you treat a woman. Why are you trying to treat me like this? This is such disrespect. No. You sit back, you relax, you observe, and you let people show you who they are. In the process of them showing you who they are, you don't get overly emotional about it. You don't get super down about it. You just allow it to be. And you just allow it to exist, because you're a black cat who is fine with your life either way. And if he's in your life is good. If he's not in your life is still good. And so it doesn't really matter what he thinks or what he feels if it's not in line with what you're looking for. But the process of figuring out that he's not what you're looking for doesn't upset you, doesn't let you down. It doesn't get you emotional or get you, outside of yourself. It just is. And you allow it to be, because you're here for what you're here for, and you're not here for anything else. Okay? I'll be honest with you. Men find that fascinating, because they're used to being able to trigger women just like that. If I say one thing, I can trigger you. If I say this, or if I do this thing, I can trigger you. And you know why it's so powerful to be able to know how easy it is to trigger a woman? I'll tell you the truth. Because if I know how easy it is to trigger you, then I also know how easy it is to manipulate you. I also know that you're weak. I'm not talking about physically, I know weak mentally. Because the more emotional I can get you, the more I can trigger you, the more I can manipulate you to do what it is that I want you to do. Because then it all becomes about manipulating those emotions in the way that I want to manipulate them, at the times that I want to manipulate them, to see the response and the result that I want to see. Which is actually ironic, because that's what I'm teaching you all to do, is to stay observant, stay relaxed, stay centered. And I'm also giving you advice on things on how to keep yourself centered. That in the process of meeting these people, in the process of dating these guys, you can continue to stay grounded and not be swayed by all these tricks and games and confusion and back and forth. And you can stay focused on what it is you're here for, and stay focused on, if this is not what you're here for, then you walk away. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Right? I want to make sure we're still on the same page. Someone said you're muted. Am I muted? You all should still be able to hear me. Okay, so you want to be observing. Let's say, for example, you can hear? Okay. Let's say, for example, you have a boyfriend who all of a sudden, actually, I kind of gave you guys the example. I was going to give you guys the example, but I already gave it. The example of the guy who all of a sudden is wanting to not pay bills and, go 50-50. And now you're all bent out of shape because you're like, you should be like this and it should be like this. And you're fighting him and you're fighting this relationship and you're trying to, no. Let people show you who they are, observe who they are, and don't be moved or shaken by it, because you're only here for what you're here for. And as soon as people show you that this is not what you're here for, you allow that to be and you move forward. See, this is why it's so powerful. This is why it's so powerful to not be giving away Squirtle for free. Okay? Very powerful. Because you help to keep yourself in a state of control and being centered and grounded when you're not anxious that, oh my God, I may have just wasted a body. Okay? That's like the number one thing holding a lot of you back. Because when you give that pineapples away, of course, obviously, it's decreasing his motivation to continue growing and building the relationship with you. But on top of that, it's increasing your own anxiety within yourself, that you're like, oh my God, okay, now that I've given this away, I gotta hold on to you, because if I don't hold on to you, I've literally wasted a whole body. I've connected with you on the deepest level. I can't let you go now. right? And as soon as you begin thinking like that and feeling like that, it's done for you. It's over for you. Because any slight withdrawal that he makes will now affect you insanely. You'll be like shaking. You're like, oh my God, you're withdrawing now. It seems like you're uninterested now. I already gave myself to you and I gave you pineapples and you had access to my Squirtle, but now it looks like you don't like me anymore. What can I do more so that you'll like me again? Can I fix this? Can I crawl on glass for you? Can I scrub the floor squeaky clean? Can I cook 10 dishes at once and maybe you'll like me again? Maybe you'll give me some validation again. Maybe you'll want to be with me, right? And it's horrible. Right? It just snowballs and downhill very fast, and you're spiraling and nothing good happens after that. Okay. So that's why you need to stay centered. You need to keep yourself and allow yourself to be centered by doing certain things or not doing certain things to stay centered. Okay. So be elusive. Number 1, be yourself. Number 2, letting go. Number 3. Okay. Number 4 was observing. And number 5, you need to do a deep dive within yourself. Did you hear what I just said? You do a deep dive, deep. We're going deep today. Get your mind out of the gutter. A deep dive within yourself to figure out what it is that you're about, you enjoy, what your life is, outside of the boy. Okay? You will never be able to embody black cat energy if your entire life is about that boy. What I mean by that is if your entire life becomes his approval and whether or not your relationship is going well and whether or not he likes you today, you will be so out of whack on a daily basis, it's unreal. See, because when your whole life becomes the relationship or your whole life becomes the guy, anything small that makes you feel like this relationship isn't going exactly how you want it to go will just throw you for a loop and you'll start spiraling. And the men subsequently become less and less and less attracted to you when you start embodying that. Where anything small can throw you for a loop. Anything small can get you super emotional and get you upset and get you, oh my God, our relationship's not working out. Oh my God, our relationship doesn't look like I wanted to. Oh my God, you don't love me. I'm taking a deep breath because that's how exhausting it is to be with someone like that. And it's not the natural state that guys want to be in when they're in a relationship, because then they quickly feel like the black cat. They quickly feel like the one sitting back, observing, listening, receiving. Not the one who cares and wants and values you so much that his interest in you is motivating him to continue chasing after you. Okay? Remember the analogy of the black cat that I gave before, right? It's elusive. It's mysterious. It's like here and it's there and I can't quite get a grasp on it. I don't quite understand it. Who are you? What are you? What is this, right? And the feeling that you get or you think of when you think of a black cat, a mysterious cat, and what makes it intriguing. This is why I always tell you guys to be focused on your perception, because your perception will drastically control how people approach you and how or if people value you. Okay? Ashley says, yes, my man is exhausting to be around at this point. Right? Does he do that? Is he like that? Do you love me today? Do you love me yesterday? Do you love me 3 seconds ago? Do you love me more than you did 30 seconds ago? More than you did 10 seconds ago? Back up, please. Take a step back, please. You're smothering me. Please don't smother me. Okay? You don't want to be like that with people. I know some of you have some anxious attachment styles, but I want you to understand you can work on that. It's not something that's set in stone. You can work on your anxious attachment style and be more like a black cat. That men are actually having the space to be interested in you. I know some people, listen, other people are going to tell you that that's toxic to be mysterious on purpose, or it's toxic to try to be elusive on purpose, or it's toxic to be vague and give people anxiety because they want to chase and pursue after you. Other people will tell you that's toxic. But at the end of the day, no matter how toxic it is, you'll have those guys wrapped around your finger, and those girls thinking that they're too big and above it to do that. Those girls will be searching for answers desperately, trying to figure out why the men that they like are looking at you and trying to be with you. Okay? It's funny how this all works, because at the beginning, a lot of women will say, oh, I'm not doing this. This is toxic. Oh, I'm not doing this. This is manipulation. Oh, I'm better than that. This is not what love or relationship should be about. But then the women like you who actually do this and actually embody this, right, will be getting chased after by all of the men that they like. And then they'll come to you and ask you, what's your secret? You tell them your secret, me. Your secret's the Players Club and all the knowledge that you gain and you understand. Because at the end of the day, when you accept the fact that people are going to treat you the way that they receive you, and if you can control people the way people receive you, that means you're controlling their perception of you. And the more you control that, the better off you'll be, because you'll get people to approach you the exact way you want them to approach you, and you won't have to lift a finger. Listen to me. As a black cat, you don't need to scream. You don't need to yell. You don't need to nag. You don't need to complain about behavior. All you're doing is you're withdrawing your energy from that man. And the process of him wanting you, being interested in you, liking you, wanting to build with you, caring about you, will put him in a position where he becomes compelled to try to figure out what your needs are in order to stop you from withdrawing from him. This also applies to a relationship, like a long-term relationship, okay? Not even just a growing stage where you're growing and starting to date someone, right? Because as you withdraw from guys and they're interested in you or they're dating you, what's going to happen is the fact that they care about you and are invested in you, they're going to say, okay, what must I do to fix this? What must I adjust in order for you to not be withdrawn from me again? And see, when they're in that position, I think I talked about this yesterday, when you have guys in a position where they're on their hands and knees and they're begging for forgiveness or they're begging to gain an understanding of what your needs are or how they can fix this, well, now you have him in a position, in a mind frame where he's ready to receive whatever it is that you want or you're asking for. And a lot of you make the mistake of not being the black cat, where you put yourself in a position where you're nagging or complaining or trying to force him to be something or complaining about how he's not something, trying to hope that will fix it or turn the situation around. When no matter how much you complain, no matter how much you nag, you're never going to get him in a position where he's in a mind state to receive that and actually make a change or adjustment. People, and men specifically, only make changes or adjustments when they've come to the realization that they want to make a change or adjustment to see a different result. So when he comes to the realization that I want to be with you so badly and I want to be with you so much because I love you so much that I want to make a change or adjustment so that you're no longer withdrawn from me, then you can say anything. And all he's thinking about is, okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay? Does that make sense? Right? Someone asked, why don't you do short TikToks anymore? The reason I don't do short TikToks, I still post TikToks, but they're longer. The reason I don't do short 60-second TikToks anymore is because as deep as we dive into relationships and psychology and the mind state of the man, it would be impossible for me to give you any information that's really going to change your life in 60 seconds. And so for those of you who want information in 60 seconds or less, I advise you to go spend some time with some other creator that will tell you something in 30 seconds, and hopefully that will change your life forever. Okay. But I feel that the only way I can actually serve all of you beautiful, amazing souls is by us having deep, long conversation in detail where we share ideas and concepts with each other so that you can actually soak it in. Okay. Right. Does that make sense to you guys in this, right? I know I went a little bit quick, but I wanted to make sure that I hit all of the points, right? Lucy asked a good question. How do you do this when you live with them? So, kind of like I just mentioned before, this is something that you can do as you're in a relationship as well. Now, I want you to understand and be aware that if you're living with someone and you've built a specific dynamic in this relationship, when you're making a quick adjustment or like a 180 shift like that, if you've been the golden retriever and all of a sudden you're in a relationship and you're trying to become the black cat, that's going to be a bit strange to the guy that you're dating. Okay. So he might start to question things. He might start to be uncomfortable because the dynamic is quickly shifting in a complete opposite direction. But I will assure you, it all works the same. If you're living with a guy, you can still do these things like picking up a hobby, going and doing some passions. Okay. You're going to have to probably spend less time just waiting on him like a dog, right? Waiting for him to come home from work with your tongue hanging out. And then when he comes home from work, you use your hands and your mouth and your squirtle and you're all excited. And then your life is only interesting or amazing when he's around. Okay. You're probably going to have to spend some time doing some things that you care about, even if he's free to hang out with you. You're probably going to have to spend some time and energy taking care of yourself, even if what he wants to be around you more and spend more time with you. That's going to be a slightly painful adjustment for you and him, because especially if you're someone who's used to doing the chasing and finally you get someone chasing you, your natural instinct is going to be, oh, finally you're chasing me, so I'm going to chase you even more. And then he'll pull back again. It's very difficult when you're accustomed to being the golden retriever to actually pull back. And then when you start seeing results, to just stay calm and continue doing what you've been doing. Because I know for some of you that have even been listening to me for long enough, some of the results, you've actually been seeing results. But the problem is when you see results and the guys start chasing after you, especially the guys that you really liked start chasing after you vigorously, you want to be like, oh, it's working now. You actually like me. Oh my God, I'm going to text you 1,000,000 times. Oh my God, I love you so much. Haven't I told you how much I want to be with you? I'm so glad that you finally like me now. I'm so glad that we can finally be together now. Oh, this is so amazing. It's like a Disney princess movie, right? And as soon as you do that, he goes, oh, okay, now we're back to normal. Okay, I'm going to pull back now. I'm going to withdraw again. Okay. It's very difficult. So if you're in a relationship like that, you can do that. You can make that change. It's going to be uncomfortable for both of you. And you're also going to have to like actually realize it's going to work and hold your water when it starts working. Literally just breathe when it starts working, because to have a guy that you've been chasing around trying to convince to like you for months and months finally chase you around and be obsessed with you is very strange, and you're naturally going to want to like lose your mind. But I need you to stay relaxed, okay, and stay centered and stay grounded, that when he begins chasing you vigorously, you don't get all out of pocket and then, just switch the dynamic right back to where it's been before. Okay. Right? Does that make sense? Vistarina says, I experienced this. It happens. It happens. And I know that it happens because I get a lot of your messages and I see you guys saying like, even in the Discord, you guys saying this advice really works for me. And it actually works really, really well. I'm actually shocked how well this works. But the thing about it is, I know as it's working, some of you are starting to say to yourself, this works well. So now I'm going to pour myself out to him back again. And then he'll pull back again. Right? Got to hold your water and stay strong. Anisha just said it. You got to stay strong. Right? And you can do this. And the thing about it is, don't let other people convince you that it's toxic because you're actively understanding how men think and feel and respond and react to things. And you're trying to do more, you're doing less so that you can receive more. The only people that will tell you that that's manipulation are people who aren't getting what they want from the guys. Because the women who are getting exactly what they want from the guys realize why this works and how it can work so well that, everyone's happy. Because like I said before, when guys can be the golden retriever chasing after you, they're actually happy because they get to be in their masculine and they get to work for your approval and feel like they're actually earning something. Okay, you want guys to feel like they're actually earning you and working for you. Is it glitching for you guys still on TikTok? That's very strange. It says my network is fine here. Okay, am I freezing still? So that is that. So do you guys have any other questions about what we discussed? I know I went a little bit fast, but we have a lot of Discord questions to get to, and I want to get to them today. By the way, if you have a Discord question for me, please feel free to go into the TikTok chat, my TikTok bio, or go into the Discord. I pinned it right at the top, and also it's down in the description below if you want it as well, okay? So I'll give you guys the 5 points that we discussed today. So be elusive, be yourself, let go, observe, and a deep dive. If you want to, actually listen to them, all of them again, just go over to my YouTube. My YouTube is right on top of my face at the top right there. Just type in my name on YouTube. I'm live on TikTok and YouTube simultaneously. So you can go and find it there. And even when I finish this live stream, it will be available for you to watch in its entirety there. So don't fret if you missed some points or you came late. You can still find this entire live stream there on my YouTube, and you can rewatch it and get all the information, okay? Everyone else has been here, which you should have been, and they have gotten that information. MP says, what about long distance? This can theoretically work in long distance. The only reason I say theoretically is because I know for a fact that majority of you talking about long distance are in a pen pal relationship, and it actually makes me sick. And I'm tired of all of you being in pen pal relationships where you're just in a relationship with a guy that you text and talk to on the phone casually with no real intention of ever seeing each other in real life. There's no plan, there's no schedule to actually meet up in real life. It's just chit chat over the internet. Okay. And that's why I say when some of you be like, oh, but what about my long distance relationship? You're not in a long distance relationship. You have a pen pal. There's a difference. Okay. All of the things that I talk about can still apply in an actual long distance relationship, which you actually have a real life connection. Don't make me mad. Some of you don't have a real life connection with the person you're talking about a long distance relationship with. Okay. You just said, what's considered long distance though? That's my thing. Okay. I would consider anything long distance where you physically cannot see each other more than at least once a week. That is what I would consider long distance. So if for whatever reason it's feasible for you to see each other more than once a week, like it actually feasible just means like it's actually realistic and possible, that I don't consider that long distance. So just because they live an hour away, that's not long distance, because you can still see someone at least once a week, multiple times a week, even if they live an hour away. All right. Anisha says, let's be so for real. It bothers me because some of you guys, I know you guys want help and advice, but some of you guys are in pen pal situations, not a long distance relationship. Okay. So with that being said, Discord time! Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm hyped up, man. Let's do this. It's like a rush, man. I needed this, man. I needed this today. Let's get into the Discord. Let's see what these people have to say, man. I love you guys so much. I love being in the Discord so much. I love the Discord so much. Let's get right to it, man. I gotta do this. Oh, it's my favorite time of the day. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so first we have M. M says, how do I get out of this? Part 2. All right, let's see how you get out of this. Okay. M says he is 20. He ignored me. You're 23 in class the first day of school again. University. Okay. I sent him the following text before. I will send you the ring. Oh, this is a ring girl that bought a ring for a guy she doesn't even really like. Very weird, but you have to go back on that to see that message. Anyways, she said, I will send you the ring, but I didn't send it to him, but instead I returned the ring back to the seller. So now I still have the earring he gave me. Should I return them or to him or keep them? Sorry, let me just fix this here on my Okay, sorry. So you said, should I return the earring or keep them? In school, he now talks to me again normally, but distant, which doesn't bother me. But why does it bother me if a girl flirts with him? Could it be because of low self esteem? How do I get people to respect me in general in class? I did message him since the ring incident and haven't reached out since. I want to work on my body language too. So main question is, how do I change myself so that people respect me? Okay, great answer, Em. I actually talked about this in, I think it was 2 live streams ago, how to kind of carry yourself in order to like get respect from men. Here's the thing. Everything that you do to get respect from men has to be focused inward on you. See, the more you try to be a pick-Misha, the more you try to be likable to men, the less likable you actually become. Like all of your energy needs to be so focused on you that you're not worried about what anyone else thinks of you. And honestly, I know some of the other people in the chat might not know the continuation of this story because this is a part 2. But basically, you buying this guy a ring, that's pick Misha energy. I don't understand. He's never going to respect you or the fact that you have value when you're purchasing him a ring and you're not even dating this guy. You're not even anything with this guy. You haven't even done like it's ridiculous. And it doesn't speak well to your own self-esteem when you act like that. Let him show you how much he wants you unless you plan on proposing. Okay, that's not where you want to be. So you need to be focused on you and not don't listen. You don't have to do anything for men in order for them to like you or be interested in you. Ironically, the less you do for men, the more interested they are in you. So if you want to gain respect from men, do less for them. It sounds crazy, it sounds weird, but the girls that are trying to do the most get the least respect. It's crazy. Do less for men and they will respect you more. Don't budge your boundaries or adjust yourself for men. They will actually respect you more. It's actually insane how that works. I don't know how that works. I didn't make the rules, but that's how that works. Okay. So that's my advice to you, and thank you for the follow-up. All right. Next we have here, let's see. Oh, there was one that there was one where she sent the message and for some reason I didn't get a chance to answer it. And I want to make sure I answer it because even the title, I was like, how did I miss this one? Where did it go? It was titled something narcissist something. And I know that I missed it because I was like, I have not, this one. I did not answer this one. I don't believe I did. So I'm going to answer Camilla's here. Oh, by the way, thank you so much, Lola. Lola donated 20. What is CHF? What currency is that? Anyways, 20 of whatever currency that is. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, thank you so much. I don't know what CHF is though. So this is Camilla's. Camilla's is titled "Narcissist Perv Who Wants to See Me Furious." I want to. Yeah, I don't think I read this one. I feel like I would remember this. So this is Camilla's message here. Very interesting. So Camilla says, he was my colleague. He was honest at the beginning. He told me that he was no longer in a relationship, but still lived with her. Okay, we've already started off pretty drastic here. Living with the girl he's no longer in a relationship with. How does that work? Like a stupid girl, I believed him because he had deleted all of their couple photos. Yeah, that does it. And I was in love. How long were you knowing this guy? Okay. We had pineapple-y contact in bed 4 times. Okay. Wait, sorry, in bed for your bed or his bed? Because if you're at his bed, then, she's there. How does that work? Or maybe she wasn't. Or you did in the bed that they sleep in? I don't know. Every time I see him, I try to end it. Did you really? I told him that I've never had this kind of relationship. First time, huh? It's not for me because I've been too much in love from the start. I stopped everything suddenly because I learned that he got back together with his girlfriend. Shocker. I'm shocked. It was 1 year ago. Now he told me he wanted to continue even though I refused. But if you refused, why does it matter? Okay, I stayed in contact with him anyways because I was very attached and had to wean myself off slowly. That's not how you do that, actually. That's called stringing yourself along, not weaning yourself off slowly. That's what that's called, stringing yourself along. The energy shifted. He chased me for 1 year with his girlfriend by his side, sleeping in his bed. Interesting. To make me give in to pineapples with all the blackmail you can imagine. I lost 10 pounds and now had psoriasis, okay, for the first time in my life. Someone remind me, what is psoriasis again? Like, I've heard the name, but I just can't remember what it does. He doesn't know the harm he has done to me. I ended our relationship when he got back together with his girlfriend. He's been chasing me for 1 year to have pineapples with me one last time, even though he's back with his girlfriend. I'm a bit confused, Camilla, why you have not blocked him at this point. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I get why it's upsetting, and I'm agreeing with you that he's a bad person. But I'm a bit confused why you're still even answering his messages or even allowing him to contact you. People said it's a skin condition, flaky skin, like being, not like being ashy, but like almost like eczema, but more extreme, I guess. Okay, a scaly rash, interesting. He informed me days ago that he's married. I didn't react. Oh God. He informed me a few days ago that he's married. I didn't react. He called me 2 days later to tell me the same thing again. That he wants us to see each other just one last time. Does that sound like a good idea to anybody? I just, Camilla, I know we're not done here, but I'm trying to understand, like, I know that you're attached to the guy, so I'm not saying that you're a bad person for being a little bit irrational, but I failed to see what it was you were even expecting out of the situation at this point. Like, even if, let's say, you were holding on to hope, what hope were you holding on to at that point? He's married with the girl that he's been living with for how many years? Okay. I refused, and you know what? He got married 1 week later and blocked me. You can't make this up. You literally cannot make this up. It's so funny. I'm not laughing at you, Camilla, but I just think guys are so funny because they're so obvious and so clear with their intentions. It's so funny how you spent all this time, and I'm not making fun of you, but you spent all this time going back and forth with him, right? Allowing him to go in and out of your life and to entertain another girl, be in a relationship with another girl. And in this process, you wanted to wean yourself off him slowly. So really what that means is you kept being involved with him. And subsequently what that means is you didn't allow yourself to ever build a relationship with anyone else for real. Why? Because you were still attached to this other guy. And so you actually did yourself a disservice, because I'm sure if this was a span of years, right? Which it was, I'm pretty sure this is like 1 year here and then there's another year. So the span of years, you probably came across some really cool or interesting guys that probably were really interested in you. And maybe some of them might have actually been able to build something with you. But because you've been so attached to this guy in the span of that time, going back and forth with him, you basically turned down those people or didn't allow those relationships to build and grow on themselves. And the craziest part about it is because you wouldn't just stand your ground and put your foot down and block him yourself so that you can move forward and find the relationship for you, you allowed yourself to you allowed yourself to be continuously strung along. Up until the point he made the decision that he's in a happy relationship and he no longer wants you to contact him or have access to him or tempt him in any way, shape, or form. And he blocked you. Can you believe it? You put off years of your life going back and forth with hope that maybe this would work out and not just cutting it off thinking that you were doing yourself a favor by weaning yourself off him slowly, only to come to the realization that when he got serious about his relationship, he stomped you out like a dim cigarette. He don't have time for you no more. He don't have time to talk to you, message you, consider you, hear you out. None of that. Ain't that tragic? Ain't that tragic? Okay? He got married a week later and blocked me so I couldn't see his Instagram stories. I tried to control myself so not to get angry because this is the reaction he's been waiting for ever since. I love him to death. Now I'm tempted to see it again and I'm itching. Help. Don't do it. Don't do it. Listen to me and read the chat because the chat will be telling you the same. Do not do it. Don't reach out to him. Don't message him. Definitely don't pull up to, if you're thinking about pulling up to his house, slap yourself in the face right now. Slap yourself in the face right now if you're thinking about pulling up to his house. Don't do that. Don't message him. Don't call him. Don't access his Netflix pass. Don't do anything with him. Throw away every single clothing item that exists in your house that he wore, has worn, or belongs to him. Throw it away. Delete every picture or video on your phone and computer and laptop that has him in it or reminds you of him. Delete them all. Delete every Snapchat memory and video. Delete it all. Don't keep any mementos or gifts that he's given you in his house. Throw them in the trash bin. I didn't say put them in a trash bag and keep them in your closet. Throw them in a public trash bin that you will not have access to. You need to get yourself off of a married man. There is nothing to be tempted about Camilla. He's married. There's nothing to love here. He's married. There's nothing to itch about. He's married. Which means any form or shape of you knowing him or spending time with him or building a relationship with him will be trying to build a relationship with a married man. You will be wasting your life away. Your precious, valuable time and energy and beautiful life will be wasted. Even if you were building a relationship with this guy, because he's married. Eventually, he's going to have a family. He will never make you a priority in his life. You owe it to yourself to be with someone that will make you a priority in their life. Do you hear me? Don't do it. Don't do it. If you do it, you're in for a world of misery. Unless you want to be miserable for the rest of your life, block him too. Block him on everything. Everything. And never speak to him again. He has literally unalived in your mind. He does not exist. Okay, Camilla? I knew I didn't answer that one when I seen the title. Okay, next we have here Baby Bliss. So Baby Bliss says, I really need your help. Okay? So Baby Bliss says, hi, Tomisin. I'm 25. This guy's 33. Little backstory between us. We have known each other since 2022. Initially, like you mentioned in your videos, he was very interested in me and drove 2 hours to take me out on a date. See, that's good. You have him right where you want him. You got to just keep him there. We were always off and on, and I would only see him at events in the summer times. Not gonna lie, I was a little desperate and fell for his love bombing. This is gonna go downhill. And agreed to keep things casual and gave the Squirtle away summer of last year. So I'm assuming because you said love bombing that this happened fairly quickly. Okay. That you feel like that was too fast. We would always text because you didn't say a specific timeline. We would always text, but never see him in person. So how did you give away Squirtle? How many times did you actually see each other in person? Because a 2 hour drive is a bit distant. So this is making me feel like you only saw him for real in like a handful of times in person. Earlier in late March and early April of this year, we were texting pineapple stuff, okay? And then we got into an argument during the pineapple texting because he said he was busy and I hated that I always last before his work. Oh, you meant to say that I always come last before his work, family and friends. I thought you were trying to say you don't finish in time or something like that. Anyways, I know after watching your videos that my mistake was texting him too much and gave away the Squirtle. Also being really needy and desperate for his attention. That doesn't come across very good. Doesn't translate well. We only had pineapples 2 times. Okay. Anyways, we had an argument because he said something misogynistic. Okay. Basically saying that his mentor told him that females are only a financial and mental loss and he should just spend 10 minutes with a woman by himself. Like, clearly this guy listens to a lot of, I won't even say who, but clearly he listens to a lot of that. This, not good. I called him out and he blocked me on WhatsApp and IG, Snap. Anyways, I was desperate, so why did you even call him out in the first place? If you know you don't like how he thinks or you don't like how he goes, this is okay. I know we're not all the way through here, but this is part of the problem, guys. See, when you don't like how someone is acting or behaving, or you don't think that it's congruent with what you expect out of a relationship, then just walk away or withdraw yourself from that person. See, in this case, and I understand that you were a baby bliss, that you felt emotional about the situation and you wanted to call him out and things like that. This is one of those cases where what was the purpose? Are you trying to turn him into not believing those things that he can believe what you want him to believe? What's the purpose? Solely because you want him to be more like the guy that you're looking for? Well, then why not just look for the guy that you're looking for that doesn't view things that way? Why are you trying to convince someone who clearly feels this way to not feel this way? What's the actual, this is why you guys always have to be thinking about, what purpose is it actually serving me? To nag him or try to change him or control him and control his actions? Because clearly he doesn't intend to treat you in any way that you want to be treated. So why are you focusing your time and energy trying to convince someone to treat you how you want to be treated that has no intention of treating you how you want to be treated? You're fighting a losing battle. And then you're apologizing for it, which only makes you look weaker, and tells him that whenever you have something that you stand on or you want to stand up for, you'll fold like a cheap lawn chair as soon as he withdraws himself from you. And you're like the golden retriever. Actually, you're more like, I don't know, a desperate golden retriever, even worse. And wished him, you apologized, then you went on to wish him a happy birthday. And the last time I texted him was on his birthday in April, my birthday in April. I started to watch your videos and realized where I went wrong. I know I cannot undo giving away the Squirtle. Anyways, I decided to join female football. Okay, cool. And I knew he would be one of the coaches there. So you didn't actually do it because you wanted to do it. You did it just to see him some more. This is the problem. Okay, this is part of the problem. When I tell you guys to do things you're passionate about, I specifically say, don't do it for boys. Also, don't do it simply to meet boys. Do it because you actually enjoy it and find fulfillment and get fulfillment out of it. Like, it is ridiculous for you to be doing things for the sole purpose of seeing a boy or to just meet more boys, because you'll be very frustrated if you don't meet 1,000 boys that night. Or if you don't see the guy there. Or if it doesn't work. Like, okay, let's go on. I honestly just joined to make more girlfriends. Yeah. Chat, does anyone believe that? Listen, Baby Bliss, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I just want you to, like, let's be for real, okay? I can't BS you. Like, nobody believes that you came there to make more girlfriends. You could have joined any football league that he wasn't the coach of then. If you really love football that much, okay? Let's be so for real. Let's not mess around here. From the same ethnicity. Last Friday, he unblocked me on WhatsApp and messaged me saying, I have to say this isn't the forum I thought I'd see you next. Laughing emoji, like he was surprised to see you there. I have not spoken to him since April. I also did not tell him that I joined football. He saw my name on one of the coaches' forums and messaged me. I didn't respond for 2 days, and today was my clinic date. Side note, I have not seen him in person for almost a year now. During the clinic, I actively tried to ignore him like you mentioned in your video. I pretended like he didn't exist and focused all my time and energy on making new girlfriends, laughing and giggling with the new girlfriends. Let's see how long that lasts. When first time to approach me, but I would just turn around or walk away. So when you might say when he tried to approach me. Then I guess he thought I wasn't interested in him, so he stopped approaching me. That's good, actually. Honestly, you don't need to be with this guy. He would still be so near me and watching my group. I saw him stare at me so many times from a distance. When practice was over, I walked to my car and he walked right after me. This is getting a little scary now. I thought maybe he would come and talk to me, but I guess I never gave him enough eye contact, so he drove off. I knew he was really interested in talking to me, especially because he wasn't expecting me to join football. Right after practice, I replied to his WhatsApp saying, why is that? Why though? I don't know. Why? What's the reason? I don't get it. What do you want from this guy? I feel like I really made it seem like I don't like him anymore, so I sent him a vague text. I was wondering, where do I take this from here? How do I switch the dynamic? Because he was so used to me texting him all the time. I want him to ask me on quality dates in person and not think about pineapples. That's what you want. Okay, you are living in a dream world. Let's go on. I know you mentioned it's hard turning around the dynamic once you gave away Squirtle away, but I know he has a lot of interest in me. I love you, baby bliss, but I need to be honest with you. If a guy truly has a lot of interest in you, he will be compelled to pursue you. You won't have to text him. You won't have to call him. You won't have to do anything. I was so worried after practice because I thought I would never see or talk to him again. Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, really? I thought, unless I'm reading hieroglyphics, I do believe that you mentioned you were just there to meet your new girlfriends, right? You were just there to make your new girlfriend. I'm focused on meeting my new girlfriends and laughing and giggling, not on silly boys. I don't care about him. Oh, I don't have time for him. This is not about boys. It's about me and my enjoyment. What happened to that? What happened to that? Okay. What happened to that? Because now you're so worried after practice because you thought you'd never see or talk to him again. Why does it matter? I thought you were there to meet your girlfriends. Anyways, that got me really anxious, and I was worried that I really made it seem like I don't like him. Oh, isn't this so funny? You guys do exactly what I say you all do, and it's prevalent in the Discord. I tell you guys, that's one of the main issues that you guys suffer with. When you get anxiety that a guy becomes disinterested in you, what do you do instead? Now you begin chasing, hoping that you'll gain his interest back by chasing him. All that actually does is make him less interested in you. And if you would just hold your water and not be so anxious that a guy will be disinterested in you because you're doing nothing, you would realize that the process of doing nothing is what's making him interested in you. He is also playing games back and taking a very long time to respond to his text. Why? Because now you're chasing him. I'm worried. See, I feel like he's playing the same games back to me. He is, because you're chasing him. Should I reply to his future text, or what text can I send him to get him to plan dates? He is very good. He's a very good date planner, but very busy because he's a criminal defense lawyer. And also, the pineapple tension between us is crazy. How do I keep my composure on dates and not fold? Like, you need to get a grip here. More screenshots below. Did I do a good job of vaguely texting him? Any tips to change? I want to end the convo and get him to ask me out in person. It's been over 48 hours and still no reply. I didn't, and he didn't look at the text either. I'm thinking I should just leave him on red when he does reply because he's playing games with me and I took 2 days to respond earlier. I don't think he's actually this busy as a lawyer. No, he's not. I know he was expecting to see me during the summer events, and that's why I said I won't be there to encourage him to ask me out. Don't. Just let him not see you and then ask you. Also, if he does not ask me out on a date, how do I tell him that I will not sleep with him anymore on these dates? You don't. You just don't do it. Okay. Baby Bliss, the answer to a lot of your questions is stop trying to talk about it and discuss it and just do it. You need to stop messaging him back unless he's going to approach you with, I want to take you out on a date. When can I see you again? Because it seems like you're having all of this pointless conversation. I don't even really need to read this because I already know what this is going to be. I have to say this form. Okay, why is that? Yeah. Okay. Not that I don't care about this, but I get the gist. I already know how he's thinking here, right? And see, here's the thing. You guys can read this if you really want to read this. Okay, you're doing the job for him. This is what I talked about actually when I talked about the way to make a man fall in love is by doing nothing. And I told you guys, do not be planning dates for a guy. Also, don't jump ahead of things and try to make it easier for him to plan a date and answer questions that he never even asked in the first place. So, Baby Bliss, what I mean by that is you're trying to do the job of the man for him by being like, oh, well, I knew you would be expecting to see me at these summer events. And since you're not going to see me at these summer events, I just thought I'd tell you ahead of time that I'm not going to be at these summer events. That way you can schedule your schedule and plan your plan out so that you'll know that you can take me out on a date on exactly Tuesday and Wednesday, because those are the days that I'm the most free. So, you know, if you ever want to take me out on a date, then those are probably the best days that you could. Stop doing that. If he really wanted to be with you, allow him to come to the realization that, hey, I'm not seeing you at these summer events. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? You're not texting me back. I would love to take you. Then when he asks you where you been, you can say, yo, I'm not going to be at these summer events. Period. Full stop. And then let him continue to be the man and say, oh, if you're not going to be at these summer events, when can I see you again in person? Then you can tell him, what did you have in mind? What were you thinking? Then you can start saying when you're free and things like that. When he asks you out on the date, don't be trying to get ahead of stuff and let him know, oh, so I'm not going to be here at this time and I'm going to be taking a break. Blah, 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 blah. He doesn't care. And until he comes to the realization that he really wants to see you, don't be trying to help make it easier for him to plan the date or stimulate an environment for him to plan the date. If he wants to plan the date, he will. The less you do, the easier you will make it for him to come to his own realization that he wants to take you out on a date. I know it's painful because you really like this guy and you're really invested in being with this guy specifically, which is the problem. But in reality, you will never be able to do more things, like I always say, to stimulate a guy liking you more or being more interested in you. If he already has interest in you, you do nothing and that interest will continue growing. Did you notice that the only period in time which you weren't speaking to him, he was literally doing things like following you to your car? I walked to practice over. I walked to my car and he walked right after me. Notice that only happened when you weren't speaking to him. And if you just kept on this path of not speaking to him, maybe his interest would have grown so much that he said, I need to see you like on a date. But you got anxious that maybe he was becoming disinterested when he stopped doing things like following you to your car. And then you started reaching out and started chasing him instead. Okay? So, Baby Bliss, do nothing. And resign yourself to the understanding that in the process of you doing nothing, he might not reach out to you ever again. In the process of you doing nothing, he might also reach out to you and ask you out on a date. Either way, your life is still good. Don't go to football practice just because you want to see him. Okay, I would actually advise you to withdraw yourself from that football team and find a new one that he doesn't coach, so that you can actually know that you're doing it for your fulfillment, not to see him more. And if you listen, if you don't plan on talking to him at the football practice anyways, what's the point of trying to be at the same football practice as him, or that he'll see you? Because you're just making it easier for him to find you in a place where he can have access to you without taking you out on a date. You should squeeze the life out of all the access he has of you that's not taking you out on a date. Why? Because then if he really wants to see you and speak to you, he'll have to take you out on a date. Don't try to be seen more or be heard from more, thinking that's going to stimulate him to ask you out on a date. That's going to make it easier for him to not ask you out on a date. Okay? So, baby bliss, very simple. Do nothing. I hate when I say that to you guys, but honestly, that's the answer to your question, is to do nothing, right? Mabali says, or is it Mbali? Mbali or Mabali? Mabali sounds like the American version. I feel like it's Mbali. I have low self-esteem, confused, and scared. Okay, let's read. I'm in a relationship and scared that I might ruin it due to my low self-esteem. I'm 28 who was previously married to an abusive ex, and we broke up now. Now I met a 46-year-old man who has become everything I've ever wanted. So good so far. He possesses the qualities I need in a partner, and most importantly, he cares deeply about my mental health and is always there for me. Okay, so good so far. Let's see here. What the heck? Sorry. Okay, let's go on. When I moved from my new apartment, he bought all the furniture. Okay, so he's getting a little money here. For my birthday last week on June 10th, he gave me a Porsche. I apologize for disrespecting his bread here. So I said he has a little bread. He's got a lot of bread. He bought you a Porsche. Okay, he the big one, not the small one, not the little one. Okay, I apologize to that man. Okay, I gotta respect him. Put some respect on his name. We've been together for 6 months and never experienced this level of generosity and care for a man before. This is actually more than the other girl got. I think it was Fitness Goddess. She got 60K in 2 months. You got a Porsche, which on average, we're talking around 195, 180, 200K. So he spent 200K on you in 6 months. Probably more than just the car too, plus your furniture. He love you. You must got that thing on you. And I've never experienced this level of generosity and care from a man before. I've also met his family. He introduced me to them on his mother's birthday. He buys me flowers every week. Is this a flex or a concern? Are you flexing, or which one is it? And when I'm having a tough time, he comes to my apartment and just hold me to cook for me without any expectations of pineapples. I'm actually struggling to see how you're screwing this up here. He makes me feel valued and loved. Despite all of this, I am scared I am not enough for him. He is quiet and calm and not toxic like my ex, and he has healed so many parts of me. However, I worry because he is very financially. I'm confused here. I worry because he's very financially stable. And since I earn less, I fear I might not be enough for him. I need another perspective. Do you think he is serious about our relationship? How can I overcome my fears and insecurities to ensure I don't sabotage this relationship? Thank you for your guidance. Okay, Bali. You're in a perfect. There's no advice for me to give you. You're in a perfect situation. You actually are getting way more than any other girl that's ever been in this chat. So I'm sure they're probably jealous of you in the life that you're living. You've got everything you want. You've got a man who treats you well. You've got a man who values you and respects you. And on top of that, he's stinking rich and will buy you whatever you want. What am I supposed to say to that? Like, I just don't understand how you can't see or realize how amazing that is. And The only thing that I think is happening with you is I think you're in a situation where, yes, your ex mistreated you, but I also think that you became accustomed to the emotional roller coaster that your ex would take you on a daily basis, on probably an hourly basis. And because you became accustomed to that roller coaster of emotions that you would go through, you found something that you could focus all of your time and energy on because it required that much of your time and energy. Because one day it's up here, another day it's down here. There's this situation, you got to chase after this girl, you got to fix this thing. There's so many burning fires for you to put out. You have nothing but time and energy and focus to put on this relationship. So you don't have to worry about building yourself up. You don't have to worry about doing things for yourself. You don't have to worry about growing or improving. All you have to worry about is focusing your energy on putting out all these fires and all these situations that are going on with your ex. Right? And so you became accustomed to that cycle and that amount of energy required just to be in the relationship. So what happens now is when you're in a healthy relationship with a guy who has money, who will give it to you, you don't have a lot of worries, you don't have a lot of concerns. What actually is happening is you're not anxious about him treating you wrong or not being enough. What you're actually anxious of is the fact that in order to stay in this relationship and maintain this relationship, it requires a lot less of your time and energy. And this has become concerning to you because you've become accustomed to having to be drained in order to maintain a relationship. The problem with this is that if you don't begin investing into yourself and making your own life interesting outside of the relationship, you'll find yourself in a position where no matter how much he does for you, you're bored because you're uninterested in the relationship. And you're uninterested in the relationship because you don't know how to make your life fulfilling unless you're going through a roller coaster of emotions. And because you don't have outside fulfillment outside of a relationship, now you struggle to find joy in life when you don't have something to focus so much of your time and energy on. Because you don't have to go through his phone when he's not toxic. You don't have to chase around this girl or that girl to figure out who he was talking to last week because he actually just tells you where he's been. You don't have to worry about what he's doing on the weekends or worry about what he's doing when you're not there because he's actually where he says he's going to be and he's actually working and he's actually making some money. You don't have to worry about him stealing from you or manipulating you to get money out of you because he's stinking rich and he can pay for anything he wants and you want. So it requires a lot less struggle, a lot less brain power, and a lot less energy to be in this relationship. But when you're used to that, that can also be painful and boring. And some people find themselves in situations where they're so bored that they actually go out into their life and they seek out people that will make their life more exciting again. Not because their partner isn't good enough and not because their partner has quality or doesn't have the qualities that they want, but simply because they want to put some excitement back in their life. And the mistake is you'll lose out on the amazing man that any woman would want to be with because you're bored. When instead of trying to fill your excitement with a new guy, or a fresh guy, or a guy that will make you feel stimulated, you should be trying to make your fulfillment and excitement in life come from within you, about something that you do, that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, that gives you that fulfillment. So throughout the course of this relationship, you need to be focused on figuring out what you want and care about outside of the relationship that brings you joy and happiness. When you find that, you'll actually find it a lot easier to be happy in the relationship. I know it sounds strange because right now you're struggling to just be okay with being happy in the relationship because you've been accustomed to not being happy and that to be your regular state. But once you find fulfillment in other things, you'll realize it's okay for you to be happy in the relationship because you have fulfillment in other aspects of your life and the relationship. And so because you have fulfillment and stress and things to focus your time and energy on in other parts of your life, you won't need your relationship to take up so much of your mental space. Okay? Because you're living a great life right now. Brittany says, I don't know if I take a Porsche 6 months in. I won't lie to you. 6 months in, for him to get you a Porsche, he must really like you. Okay? I don't care how rich he is. he must really like you. There's millionaires and billionaires that don't do that for someone in 6 months. Okay? So he must really like you. And he bought your furniture. We're 6 months in. So you got that thing on you. You doing well. There's clearly a lot that he likes about you and a lot that he appreciates of you. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Listen to me and listen to all the other girls in the chat that are saying they would love to swap play. Hey. Mbali. You'll realize, it's a painful realization. If you get bored and start venturing out the relationship, trying to get some excitement, it's a painful realization when you realize how many girls would gladly take your spot in a heartbeat. Don't be fooled that he treats you well, thinking that there won't be a plethora of girls that will be hungry and ready to take your spot if you're not appreciative of the relationship and the man that you have. Don't lose the plot here, okay? Not to say that you're not the prize or anything like that, but I just want you to understand, if you can't figure out a way to appreciate him and feel fulfilled in this relationship, trust you me, there will be a girl at the doorstep ready to take your spot, because you're getting a lot more than anyone could ever ask for. Okay? Not to diss you or make you feel bad, but I want to, like you said, give you some perspective so that you can take a deep breath in and realize where you actually are at. Sometimes it's hard to realize where you're actually at because you're in it and not realizing how good that you have it. If you read some of these other Discord questions, you'll realize you're in an amazing situation. So there's really nothing for you to be upset about. I won't say nothing. We all go through things, but your problems are very different problems than most of the other girls' problems. Okay? So be appreciative of what you have. Next here we have, let's see. Okay, Smooth Brown says, need help ASAP. Okay, I'm gonna give you help ASAP. Let's see what you have to say here. Let me see here. Okay. Need help ASAP. Smooth Brown says, hi, I'm 24, met a guy who's 30 at a college dinner, 2 months. I left a bit earlier than everyone. I was waiting for the Uber and I saw him walking towards me and he asked for my socials. We started talking and he immediately wanted to take me out. I was a bit hesitant, but it was so fast. So we talked for a few more days and I decided to go on a date with him. Okay. He gave me 3 options for the date that he had well planned. So good so far. I decided to go to the fancy restaurant. The outfit I wore to the date was a bit pineapple-y, and I had on these high-heeled boots. After a while, my feet started hurting bad, and I was also on my cycle, so I had very bad period cramps. I suggested that I wanted to go home because of the pain, and he wanted to initially buy me some comfort snacks, but because of my heels, I told him I just wanted to go home right away. That's nice of him, though. Once we got home, it started getting hot and heavy, and we started kissing. We had never made out at that point because I was on my cycle. Okay? Still have my V card. Sorry, I'm soaking everything in. I live a very busy life, and I didn't want to put him as a priority at all. We would talk. He would always say, I'm famous because I was so busy with my own life and friends. That's good. He also leads a busy life. So we met at his house for our second meeting. I dressed up very innocently with a long white summer dress like a sundress, because I was expecting him to take me out somewhere, but we ended up being hot and heavy, and I gave him I just don't So you were gonna go somewhere, and then you guys just said F the spot, and then you gave him head. Why would you do that though? I don't understand. Like, things were going so well. He was treating you so, like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why not just go out to the place you were already planning? I understand, like, yeah, you got carried away and yeah, you were in the mood, but like, why would you do that? You also still have your V card. Why would you do that? I don't I, I'm glitching here. Because if you have your V card, you do realize the majority of guys will respect if you have your V card still, that like, okay, you're just not one, you don't haven't given it to anyone. So they're not gonna feel pressure to be like, I gotta sleep with her right away because other guys have probably done that. Like, why would you do that? The third meeting that we had, I lost my bag and I basically lost my keys in the bag. So I had nowhere to go at night. Oh God, this is not gonna end well. So I stayed over crying because my bag, because of my bag, and he only wanted to have pineapples. Shocker. I told him no, since I'm clearly upset about the situation of my bag. He respected and left to sleep on the couch. That's actually pretty respectful. We talked the next day and we decided to meet up to give each other stuff back. And he told me he wants to stop the situation because he wants to give me some respect. In that moment, I revealed to him I was a V card. Oh, so he didn't know. Okay, sorry, I apologize because I said that's he knowing that he'll chill. And he told me he can't be with someone with no experience. Okay, what's your question here? I guess you just say you need help on the situation. This is kind of a preference thing. So if that's his preference to be with someone with experience, that's perfectly fine. What I really think he means though, in being a guy, if I'm going to give you man speak, what I really think he means though is he's not prepared mentally to be in a relationship in which he's going to wait until marriage to sleep with you. Because that's kind of how it probably feels for him when he's thinking of the fact that you still have your V card and how long it would probably take him in terms of commitment before he would probably see the possibility of sleeping with you. And it probably is a bit confusing to him because of this whole situation. Because I feel like you should have had this talk before this situation. And I feel like you would have both been able to come to a much better understanding if that was the order. Okay, I'm not trying to make fun of you, Smooth Brown, but I want you to understand, like, you have to do things in a specific order. So if you know that this is a very important topic or a very important quality about you, this is something that you discuss early on before you do anything like this. That way you can ensure that you're both on the same page and you're not building a relationship with someone who's not prepared for that. Because why would you only come to this? Why would this realization only happen after you do that thing? When this should have been, what were you talking about on the dates? What were you talking about? What were you discussing? How much you like each other? This is why I always tell you guys, you want to be getting in deep into the mental state and the mind frame of the guy that you're in a relationship with or you're trying to build with. Get in deep quickly so you can know what he really wants and what his real intentions are, and not only be discovering that after you've already slept with him, or in this case, given him some head. Because if this was the case, then this was always the case. So this is something you should have been asking about or getting an understanding of at the very beginning, at the top of this, okay? On the first couple of dates. So that by the time you get to this point, you're very aware that he's in it for the long haul and he understands what he's getting himself into. I understand people don't want to just go around talking about their body count and things like that, but like you're a virgin. Like it's not embarrassing or shameful to be a virgin. You're a woman. It's fine. If a guy has a problem with that because he wants to sleep with a woman very quickly, cool. Move forward with your life. You shouldn't be ashamed of that or ashamed to tell a guy that because you're scared that he won't like you anymore. That's not it. Don't change yourself to be more of what other people want you to be. That's who you are. Stick to that and allow the guys who are going to accept you for that to accept you for that. If they're not, then let them move on with their life. Because I'll be the first one to truthfully, I'll just be so straight with you. I'll be the first one to tell you, you being having your V card still at 24 actually makes you more desirable. Okay, I'll just be so for real with you. Okay, because if a guy's thinking about making you his wife and you haven't been with anyone before, let's just be all the way for real. That is more desirable if I want to make you my wife. I would love for the girl that I'm with to have never been with anybody before. I can teach her a whole bunch of stuff. I like teaching. Me like teaching. And for most guys, they would love if their girl was like that too. I don't think that that's unnatural or a bad thing. So don't get yourself all discombobulated because this guy reacted like this. I promise you, a lot of guys will appreciate that. So do less of this and keep more of this. Okay, Smooth Brown? That's my advice to you. Next, let's go to, and ask questions too. Let's go to Brandy with 2 E's, not 1 E, the 2, not the 1, the 2. Brandy with 2 E's. Okay, so boom, you from New York? Met this guy. Okay, so boom, met this guy on TikTok. You heard? No, I'm saying he lived in Atlanta, and at the time lived in Louisiana. He was finishing school and I was working. We planned on seeing each other, but I lost my job. Oh, so sad. We continued FaceTiming and he asked if I was talking to other guys. Oh, you met on TikTok. Okay. I said yes. He didn't like that. And he said he thought we were trying to date. So we had a conversation and decided, okay, so we're going to get to know each other and plan to meet. Okay. Well, he finished school and I ended up losing my job and moved back to Texas. We're in Texas. 5 months go by and we're still talking. We haven't met yet. 5 months. You haven't met yet. Wow. But things are going great. You're a pen pal. How great can things be going? Looking back, he was future faking and I would express my intentions was to date to marry. Nothing more, nothing less. He agreed, of course. Long story short, after a couple of disagreements about communication, it started to slow down. And when either of us would comment about it, we agreed we would do better. For a while, we did until the FaceTimes turned into calls. Mind you, we're both looking for a job. So he's still looking for a job. I don't think he's. Okay, I'll hold my thought. So at this point, it seems we're just keeping each other company. You are. But I thought once we both get on our feet, we would meet. That's what you thought, right? Well, I started to feel that he was entertaining other parties, and I was right. It's been 5 months. He's a man. Do you think he's just going to call you on the phone for 5 months and never want to whack himself off inside someone else? Our last time speaking was when we went a whole day without calling or responding, then said, I've been in and out of sleep, so I called. No answer. So I took that as, oh, he's playing games and showing me he's not interested because he didn't call me back until later the next day. Sure, people are busy, but for us, it wasn't the norm. So I ended communication. Good. You've been a pen pal for 5 months. This is a waste of your time. The third day of no communication, he texted me, understood. I didn't respond. So weeks go by. I notice he's with the same girl I had suspicions about, and I was correct. They were seeing each other. Shocker. He reached out 2 weeks ago saying this. I wanted to thank you for... Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Brandy. Sorry, the situation is funny. I just know these type of vibes. I wanted to thank you for sticking with me during this journey. We supported each other. I know you ended communication and I respect your decision, but I will be watching you from a distance. I blocked him on everything. Thoughts. Okay, so my thoughts is he played you like fiddle. You wasted your own time by being a pen pal with a guy who had no intention of seeing you. I understand like when you were seeing him, he had no job and he was looking for one. So then your mindset should be, okay, when you have a job, contact me because then you'll be actually ready to come see me. This is the problem. See, the focus is in the wrong place. First of all, your focus should not be on building a relationship. Your focus should be on getting your own job. to support yourself. And vice versa for him. His focus should not be on building a relationship. It should be to support himself and get a job so he can get on his feet and, do what he's supposed to be doing as a man. See, this is the thing. I always tell you guys, some of you are thinking you're in a long distance relationship when you're just a pen pal with a guy. And it's a big waste of your time. Because if there's no intention to actually see each other in real life, what's the point? What is the point? You guys really need to start taking your time and your energy very seriously. And where you're spending it very seriously. And you need to start saying to yourself, my time and energy is an investment into my future. So if I'm putting my time and energy into something and investing it into something that's not going to pay me back in the future, I should not be doing that thing. I need you guys to get a hold of this thought process. Like, your time and energy is valuable and should be invested in things that pay you back. If you're randomly calling and FaceTiming and texting a guy who has not talked about coming to see you in person, stop wasting your time. And when I talk about talking to come see you in person, I really mean like, he's like, okay, next month I'm a book. Like, if he's really serious, it doesn't take more than a month of planning to say, I'm free in the next month. I'm free in the next 2 months. I'm free at this time. And then I can come see you for a week or whatever. If he's really that serious. But the guys who are just chatting with you just so they'll have a little bit of company, like this guy, they'll just chat, talk on the phone, no intention of actually meeting. And 5 months will go by, like Brandy, and you'll just be still chatting with the same guy over text and DM and phone call. It's a big waste. Big waste. And like you played yourself, because look, all 5 months you invested your time and energy into a guy only to have him get into a relationship that he was actually happy in. And just like someone previous that sent a message in, he came and he thanked you for your time. And he said, yeah, good knowing you, but I'm done with you. And he literally discarded of you. He wasn't even interested enough in you to keep you as a side piece because there was no piece. He was just keeping you around his company until he could build the relationship he actually wanted to build. So while you were investing in him, he was investing in his future. And when he got the future that he wanted, he discarded of you. This is why I tell you guys, if this guy's not being intentional about you and he's not being serious about seeing you, end it. Don't waste your time because these guys are building relationships with other women. Okay? Don't waste a whole bunch of time. Okay? Let's do one more here. Let's see. Okay. Electric Feel asks, will he actually commit before pineapples? Electric Feel says, Papa Smurf. I'm wearing pink today. Tomisin, this is what you have taught me. You've taught me, don't give up pineapples until he asks for a committed relationship. Okay, yes. Treat a guy half disinterested, letting him cook on almost everything, 100%. Direct all questions back to him, being vague about who we actually are, and let him schedule dates 5 days away because I'm busy, 100%. You got it down packed. That being said, I'd like to get your expert advice on my following thoughts. Okay. How can a man ask us for a committed relationship if he doesn't really know us because we're being vague and just asking him stuff? He has no idea how the pineapples is with us. Okay. With dates always being days apart, this slow burn seems like it could take 5 months per man. Okay. I love this question because I know a lot of you have similar questions just like this. I want you to know, okay, people never remember what you say. They only remember how you make them feel. I know when we have these discussions together and we sit down together, you feel like if I'm only asking him questions, then he won't really know anything about me and he'll be disinterested in me. And you'll think that that's what he's thinking in his mind. In reality, he's not thinking about how little you talk. He's thinking about how good it feels to get off his chest everything he's thinking and feeling and not be judged for it. It's crazy, but the guys aren't thinking to themselves, you don't talk about yourself enough, so I'm not interested in you. Actually, what they think to themselves is, I get an opportunity to talk about myself, which is very interesting and stimulating for me. So I like you because of how good I feel to be around you. Okay. And the less you share about yourself, the more mysterious you become. And the more mysterious you continue to be, the more interesting and intriguing you continue to be. See, the guys, I always try to tell you guys, your value is not based on your actual value. It's based on the perception of your value. Okay? Meaning, I can make something seem valuable by making it seem like everyone wants it and that it's in high demand and it's very scarce. That doesn't mean I actually have to put time into making the quality very high. All I have to do is make the perception of quality be very high by showing you that everyone else wants it and making it look like it's very scarce. There was an example of exactly what I'm discussing in a skit that someone did. I believe it's on YouTube. All you have to do is type in fake designer store. And there was like a company or whatever. They just wanted to see the social experiment of what would happen if they created a fake designer store and forced people to pay high price for Payless shoes. And I believe in that store, they actually called the name of the store Palace. So they made it sound like it was French or foreign. They called it Palace, and in the store, they were literally selling Payless shoes. But they convinced people that it was this new designer French store called Palace, and they convinced people to pay thousands of dollars for Payless shoes. And people were lined around the block for the Payless shoes. All because they presented it in a way where this is high quality. Everyone wants it. And they hyped it up. They put some marketing behind it. They made it seem as if it was really valuable. And so what happened? Everyone treated it like it had value. It was the same Payless shoes that all of those people would have walked by if the store said Payless and it was $10. But because of the perception of that value based on the scarcity and the demand, everyone wanted to pay thousands of dollars for the same Payless shoes that were cheap, made in the same Payless factory. And so that's my point when I talk to you guys about perceived value and perception. When you guys get worried about, but he doesn't know enough about me, but I'm not talking enough about myself. How is he going to know that he wants to be with me? It's not about him knowing that he wants to be with you based on how much you share about yourself. It's about his intrigue in you and his desire to continue knowing you because you're scarce and unavailable to him, that he wants to make you less scarce and less unavailable to him and continue to build with you. And this part about it being a slow burn, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. You don't need to make things happen in 1 week. In fact, it's actually better if things don't happen in 1 week, because the slower things burn, the more you can observe him and his actions and know that if you're actually going to give yourself to this guy, you're giving yourself to the right guy, not a mystery man or a guy who's just putting on a Prince Charming suit. So actually, it works in your favor the slower it burns, because the longer you get to see him in a bunch of whole different situations and circumstances that you know you're actually meeting and being with the real person, not with, his representative. Okay. Next year, you say, it would feel scary to commit to a man before I knew what his pineappleality is like and what his body is like and how our pineapple chemistry is. Or what if he has a micro thing? These are things. Now, I'm not saying you don't have conversations about this. These are part of the things that you figure out in the process of asking him questions. You can actually figure out a lot about someone's KINKSs, what they're into, what they enjoy, what their vibe is, by asking them questions. You don't have to necessarily always just go out and experience it in order to get a better understanding of it. Now, obviously, you're not going to know exactly what the pineapple chemistry will be like if you don't do it. But at the same time, in the process of you guys doing other things that's not having pineapples, you'll grow a sense of how connected your bodies are and how in sync you guys are, even with things like kissing. I promise you, if you guys don't have chemistry kissing, there's a 99.9% chance you won't have a lot of chemistry when you're having intimacy in and out, squirtle and being penetrated. Okay, I can assure you that. So these are the kind of things you should be looking for to get those answers to that question. If he has a micro thingy, That's also something you'll discover in the process of asking him enough questions. I trust me, it's very hard to hide a micro thingy if you're talking about your past pineapple experiences. Okay, you'll start to get a sense, and even when you're making out, you can, if you're really scared or worried, make out with him and start feeling down below. If you can't feel anything, then you should be worried. But if you can feel something and it seems like a decent size, whatever decent size is to you, then you're good. Okay, so don't be such in fear of a situation that is like that. That's like almost never going to happen. We're talking about like less than like a very minority portion of the population. Okay, most of them have average. Okay, not micro, average, maybe small, but not micro. Your advice is bar none, yet I always see the vision of the guy in it for a slow burn when he keeps pulling the... Wait, what? You want to see the vision of a guy in it for the slow burn? I mean, that's good. That means he's being intentional about it. You mean when you keep pulling yourself away? I mean, if you're pulling yourself away and he's intentional about it, then, I mean, he's going to continue pursuing you. I have a different perspective with just seeing one man at a time. Okay. And Electric Field donated $20 on YouTube while we were reading out the questions. He said, your IG skits and music so good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Electric Field is probably like the #1 donator in TikTok and YouTube. So I appreciate you so much, Electric Field, while I'm reading out your question. Thank you. Isn't it a waste of time if you put all of your intention into just one person? If they end up being a disappointment, then you got to start from scratch with someone and no foundation. I don't truly see a man who a man is until 6 months of knowing him. I mean, yeah, it's technically a waste of your time if you build this with that person and it ends up being a disappointment. But if you don't give away Squirtle in that time period, at least you get to walk away scot-free without having wasted a body and giving yourself to that guy. And so don't be worried that, oh my God, I should make this happen as soon as possible, because if it takes a long time, then, that's a long time wasted. Why would you want to jump into things early and then figure out you're wasting your time early and then be like, well, I should have been more patient. Okay. And the thing about it is, in the process of getting to know people, it will become pretty obvious to you when you're on the right track or when you're not on the right track. You also say, I am 49, never married, and I want to find my person, be a wife someday. So I would talk with others so I can stack my odds, not giving up pineapples and keeping a dating rotation. If a man hasn't claimed me to be exclusive, why would I invest my time just into him? I don't necessarily advise you guys to be trying to keep a roster. I know I give some toxic information, but I don't advise you guys to keep a roster, simply because at that point, you spread yourself so thin in terms of your time and energy in all these different places. It becomes very difficult to have any time and energy left for yourself, because it's, even if you're just saying, oh, I'm just dating these guys and I don't care about them, you're still putting your time and energy and investment into those guys that you're dating. And so, yes, it feels good to not have to care about any one particular man, but you also don't have a lot of time left for yourself. The illusion is that if we have time in life to accomplish all of our goals, but in min life, it's more like prioritizing goals and recognizing that you might not fulfill everything on the list. I agree with this. You have to understand here's the thing. I think that you should always understand what it is you want and you're looking for, and what it is that's important to you that you must have. That way, you know what are things you can work with. Do you understand? Making your list of everything that you want is also understanding what you can work with. Because you're going to meet people of all different walks of life and personalities and dynamics and things like that. Some qualities about them might not necessarily be your favorite thing, but it might be something you can work with. And some qualities about people might be something you absolutely cannot work with. But that's on you to understand the difference and which one is which. Because only with that information can you make a decision on, okay, I can build with this. I can work with this. Yeah, you make mistakes, but you're accountable to your mistakes. I can work with that. As opposed to, you're someone who doesn't take accountability for everything. And anytime I try to get you to apologize about anything, you just blow it off as it's not your fault. I can't work with that, right? Lastly, what is the language to use with a man in order to convey Well, I want to find my life partner, so I'm not feeling like giving pineapples until I'm in a committed relationship. This is actually a great question here. My advice to you would be to not say that, just do it. Because a lot of, honestly, truthfully, honestly, a lot of girls say this. A lot of girls say, oh, I'm just waiting until commitment. Oh, I'm not going to give myself away until commitment. Guys hear that all the time. You know how you're sick of hearing guys tell you, "Oh, I'm looking for something serious." Guys are sick of hearing girls say, "I'm not going to give away any Squirtle or pineapples until I have commitment." Guys hear that 24/7. And you know what happens right after the girls say that? They get a little wine in them, they have a little fun with them, have a little chit chat, and lo and behold, they're giving away Squirtle. So it's meaningless to say it. Actually, you're better off not saying it, because showing him that is way more powerful than saying that. When you say that, you honestly just sound like every other girl. When you do it, though, when you're actually about it, it's a very different feeling to see it happening. So honestly, I'd advise you to not say it, just do it. Just do it. Okay? Thank you so much, Electric Feel, for all your amazing questions. I see that you put in so much work into your questions, and you donate while asking great questions, while participating into the chat. I appreciate you so much, Electric Feel, for everything you do for me and this community. You're so amazing. Okay, so that's the show for today. If you had a question for me that didn't get answered, don't fret. I will answer your question on another show. We have lots of shows to discuss. And if you want to ask your question because you didn't get a chance to and you're on TikTok, go into the link in my bio where you can ask your question there. Or if you're on YouTube, it's right at the top and the link in the description where you can ask your question. Or you can go at the top, it's pinned at the message at the top, or it's in the link in the description at the very bottom if you want to ask your question in the relationship advice section there, while I'll answer it live on the show. Okay. If you love me so much and you want to see everything like Electric Feel was referring to, she loves my IG skits and my music. I used to make IG skits when I was younger, so I left that. I've been up until this point. So that's all available on my Instagram. You can follow me there on Instagram and see everything I'm about on Instagram, and get to know me a little bit better on there. See me going to the gym and things like that. Okay. And if you are on TikTok and you love the show so much, you want to be a part of the show, you want to see everything that the show has been up until this point, you can just head over right on the top of my head on the right side, type in my name on YouTube, and you'll be able to find my channel where you'll see all of the live streams that I've done in the past, as well as this one. And you'll be able to also see the TikTok and YouTube live chat embedded in the video. So if you were on the TikTok live chat today, when you watch today's video, you'll be able to see your name and your little profile picture there in the video as well. You're a part of the show. You're a part of the show. So yes, I'm on every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you got to figure out what time that is in your time zone if you want to make sure you join me right on time for another live show where I'll be back again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? Until then, arrivederci, au revoir, hasta la vista. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. I love spending time with you, and I love this time that we get to be with each other until we see each other again at 4 p.m. Eastern Time sharp. I love you. Okay? And I'll be back on time. I was on time today.